Talk TV. We've been sharing good headlines here lately, at least on Good Things, about Rolling Fork building back and building back better. But you may not realize that after the storm, 68% of the population in Rolling Fork were renters, or during the storm. Should I say before the storm, put it that way. And following that, many of the programs are helping homeowners get back, but maybe not so much for renters. So there's a program that's up to Good Things that's trying to change that. So joining us today is Britt Williamson. He is the chairman of the board for Rolling Fork Build Back Better. He's also the pastor of First Baptist Rolling Fork. And we have Emily, who's also a member of both. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Well, I think this is so good because when I was reading about you guys sort of focusing in on renters, I went, yes, like you don't even sort of think about it. So Britt and Emily, you guys were really on the grounds there right after the storm, or I guess during the storm. When did you start to recognize that maybe this population, and I don't want to use the words being left out or overlooked, but maybe weren't getting the same sort of focus or intention as other homeowners?
Well, once we found out that we had such a huge population of rental families, we went in search of ways for them to get help. And unfortunately, what we found is that when there are disasters like hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, all the programs and all the help, all of that flows to the homeowner. There's very, very little that will go to help a family that was in a rental home. And so when we didn't find any help and saw that a huge population of our city were renters and we're going to have no way to be able to come back to their home for the viability of our city, our churches, our hospital, our businesses, we knew that we had to do something to help these families return to Rolling Fork.
How did you find out it was 68%? I mean, is there just that through surveying or just other sort of documentation? I mean, that's a large percentage of a community's population to be renters, which may be that way in a lot of our smaller communities. It's just sort of shocking to me.
Well, it's and I just had these numbers in front of me yesterday. It's like 38% of the homes here are rental homes. But if you look at a percentage of the population, that takes into account husband, wife, single mother, and the children. The percentage of the population that lived in a rental home or an apartment, that's where it got to be such a large number.
Okay, that makes sense. So you guys decided, hey, we need to do something about this or address it. I mean, where do you start with that, Britt? I mean, do you build apartment complexes? How do you go about kind of bridging that gap for resources to those who want to call who do call Rolling Fork home, but in a different way?
Well, it's a daunting, monumental task, and we started that with prayer. We looked at building apartments. We looked at building rental homes. We looked at a lot of different avenues, and there is a lot of multi-generational poverty here in the Delta, especially the South Delta. And we thought if we're going to do something, why not do something that's going to help these families come out of multi-generational poverty and put them in a position to go into multi-generational wealth. And so we looked at all kind of different avenues to be able to build back, but this one was really the only one that made sense that would be good for the community and be good for these families.
So this is the program, Build Back Better. Explain that to us here on Good Things. What does this look like, Britt? Or Emily, whichever one.
Well, we partnered with City Impact Ministries, and they provided us with 6 house frames. They do builds, and families get together at a big local church and build walls. And so we were able to get 6 house frames delivered shortly after the storm to Rolling Fork, and we just started there. That was kind of the catalyst to get us going. And we've got walls going up this week on our first 2 foundations, Rebecca.
That's amazing. So so it's a bigger program than that. So you've got the 2 homes, but I see where y'all have like 17 lots and 18 acres to develop into an actual neighborhood. So that is not just a few people. That's a neighborhood that's going to impact a lot of families. Where did the lands come from, or how did y'all land on that particular area?
Well, it goes back to prayer and God just providing. So several weeks after the tornadoes, we started purchasing different lots through this nonprofit that we have. We knew that, we were going to need a lot more property than just a lot here and a lot there. And we had a connection to an individual that owned 18 acres inside the city limits. And we began to pray that God would make a way for us to get it, and had an appointment with this individual, and the rest is history. We now own that piece of property, and God provided for it.
And the other piece to this, Emily, is the Foundations of Hope, which I think is financial, not necessarily assistance, but maybe classes. So y'all really are trying to look long-term into taking something traumatic like the tornado experience and setting these families back up better than they ever thought possible once they get to move back to Rolling Fork. So what are these classes about?
Well, we wanted to give these people just an opportunity to become a community, really, to get to know one another, but mainly to give some life skills that we felt like were very important going forward to become a homeowner. And so they go through a Foundations of Hope class, which is Brother Britt does that class, and just talks about the program, what is expected of them, what will happen, how the homeowners will be chosen, that type thing. We have 2 financial literacy classes they go to. We just call it Financial 1 and Financial 2. And we have banks in the Delta that are providing that education. So we have just people coming in teaching those classes, and those are 3 hours each class. And then I'm an extension agent with Mississippi State University, and so part of what we do is teach healthy homes, healthy lifestyles. And so the last class is a homeowner class, and a coworker and I teach healthy homes and just basics about owning a home, maintenance and that type thing. And so and after they complete the classes, then they go through at least 3 hours of spiritual and emotional counseling with a counselor we have on staff here.
Really setting them up for success, Brother Britt. So if someone's listening to Good Things and they're like, we're going to definitely be praying for this, but what else do you need? Because I see this is also through donations, volunteer labor, those type of things. So what else do y'all need to make this Rolling Fork Build Back Better into, 17 completed lots?
Well, you mentioned the first one that's so important. It's just prayer. We also need volunteer labor, people to come in and help us construct these houses. The more volunteer labor that we get, the more houses that we can do. We need donated materials or discounted materials to build the houses. And we also need financial resources. We need money to be able to build these houses.
Where can they go to maybe learn more information or get connected with one of you two to sort of figure out how they best connect with it?
Yeah, we have a website. It's www.rollingforkbuildbackbetter.org. We also have a Facebook page under that same name. We also have Cash App and Venmo set up so where people can very easily donate. And there is a contact us portion on our website so they can send us an email and we'll reach back out to them and talk with them on how they could become a partner in what we're doing here.
Is there a sense of optimism in the town there, Brother Britt? I mean, do people are excited to see new life, new beginnings, new opportunities there in Rolling Fork?
It is. It's been one of the messages that I've tried to portray since the tornado hit on March 24th. There's a message of hope. And everything that's happening, whether it's a business starting to build back, a homeowner starting to build back, or even the houses we have going, whenever people see new projects, it just is a great encouragement, a great emotional lift to everybody in the area.
Well, we appreciate all you're doing. Thank you for sharing it. Encourage folks to look into Rolling Fork Build Back Better to be a part of it. And I appreciate y'all's time.
All right. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
All righty. You guys stick with us. We got more good things for you coming up next.